live on YouTube. Yeah. All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the show. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're all having an amazing day. It's like over 90 degrees. And yeah, I'm going to be getting a tan today. I'm going to be getting baked today, not in the way it sounds. Don't take that out of context. You can't count on people not taking things out of context on YouTube. I guess that's part of the game, right? You learn. You learn that you're going to be taken out of context in life many times. You're going to be the what do they call it? The butt of all jokes. Somebody help me out with that. Anyway, today I want to start off by saying that at the end of this show, I have a very special announcement to make that you're not going to want to miss. There's a little lizard on the ground just crossed. There's a very special message coming up at the end of the show that you're not going to want to miss. And I'm going to wait till the end to share it because, excuse me, I don't want to distract from this show today with what I'm going to say. It'll be well worth the wait. Let's just put it that way. Hey, Queen Helen Casey, is that you? Queen Helen Casey. Okay, Eli, you've been talking way too much lately. Get your words together, brother. Queen Helen Casey's in the house. She says, hi, how you doing, Queen? How's it going, girl? Welcome to the show. Great to see you here. Got my top moderator here, Queen Helen Casey. My lady told me she'll be modding as well. And then Lewis Fuller will be here, my three top mods. But Queen Helen Casey is the head moderator. Now you may ask me, well, why don't you make your girlfriend the head moderator? Well, I'm a fair person. I'm unbiased. And I'm not saying that my woman wouldn't be a good head mod. But Queen Helen Casey's been here for over 3 years. And she knows how to handle it. Now, my lady's learning. And I don't think I don't think my lady has a problem, which is what I'm trying to say, with Queen Helen Casey being the head mod. But is that really something to be proud of? Like, is that like a title that people would fight for on YouTube? I'm the head moderator of Eli's channel. We're grown-ass adults, you know. I look at everyone as equal, right? Queen Helen Casey says, I am okay. Just showing more news or just sharing, or you're showing more news articles on Twitter. Okay, that's wonderful, Queen. That's wonderful. Yeah, today, I wanted to do a show to take you folks down memory lane with me. And I'm going to be sharing with you folks some or many, if not most, or if not all, of my adventures that I've taken in my life. How's it going? And it's going to be a real laid-back, down-to-earth stream where you folks can get to know a little more about Eli and the way, you know, Eli was, stemming back to his early 20s, maybe mid-20s or so. Eli's always been, well, let me not talk in the third person of myself. Let me talk about me. I've always been a very adventurous person, but I used to be even more adventurous. Got some gentleman on the side there. That's walking the trail. Give me a second. I want to respect his peace and quiet. He's hopping off. There are a lot of senior citizens here today. I wonder if it's like a senior center around here. It appears they're walking around aimlessly, no disrespect. With no disrespect, I said hi to most of them and they're not responding. I think these might be, with no disrespect, some mentally challenged or maybe some senile senior citizens, that is. Anyway, it's such a beautiful, gorgeous day here today. I gotta tell you that. Beautiful, gorgeous day. So anyway, I'm gonna be taking you folks down memory lane. We're gonna take a nice stroll down memory lane, and I'm gonna share with you folks adventures I took. These are stories that I don't think I've ever shared them before. Some of them might get a little bit intimate, but not too intimate to the point of where YouTube wouldn't like it. You know, we always keep things within the guidelines and terms of service out here. But yeah, you know, I had a lot of fun in my mid-20s through my, I'd probably say maybe my early 40s and stuff. I was more of a daredevil, more of a risk taker, and I'm still a risk taker, but you know, I take smarter risks now. You know, well, let's just get to it. This is episode number 311 of Walking with Purpose Live. And the topic of today's show is life is an adventure. And I'm going to be sharing my experiences, my life experiences. I'm going to be sharing, you know, what I've been through and what I've experienced, you know, in a fun way, like chances I took and places I've been to and sleep that I lost. And I'm sure, you know, many of you guys and gals have probably done certain things like this in your life. But yeah, you know, I'll tell you, once you hit 40, I'm not saying that I still don't have a lot of energy. I do, but I had even much more energy before I turned 40. And yeah, there were times where, you know, I would just take some big risks, big risks, even late at night and stuff. Things you would have never expected me to take. And a lot of this involved, you know, meeting women. You know, there used to be some different ways to meet women in my younger days. And those ways are still around, but they're no longer really a good way to meet people. They used to have these phone lines that you could call in and talk with women and send messages back and forth. And then if you like each other after a while, you can connect live through the phone system and exchange numbers, trade pictures. And I remember when I first got onto these phone dating sites, and this was back in, this was back like in the mid-90s and stuff. When I first got on these phone dating lines, you know, we didn't have the digital cameras that we have today. We certainly didn't have the smartphone cameras and stuff. We didn't have smartphones, right? It wasn't until like the late 90s where digital cameras became pretty affordable. And then it was until many years after that that our flip phones, before smartphones came out, were able to take pictures, but the quality of the pictures they would take were real shitty, right? So, there were times where, I would talk with women in between relationships on these phone lines, and we would exchange numbers, right? And before you could exchange pictures digitally, we would exchange addresses and trade pictures by mail. Now, sometimes I was spontaneous enough and just took a chance. On meeting some of these women without exchange. But if I was skeptical that she was trying to catfish me, and that word catfish wasn't even created yet back then, but same type of thing. If I was skeptical that she was going to lie about the way she looked, then I would want to trade pictures or just not meet. But I will tell you what the really cool about that line, and they're still around to this day, but they've turned into more like it's turned into more like a prostitution line. You can't meet good people on there anymore. And I haven't called in a long time. I've pretty much been using like Match.com as my primary way of women. That's where I met my current woman, and hopefully this one works out forever, because it's the most amazing relationship I've ever had. But so it was. I'll tell you this. And this is the thing. I've never been the type of guy to meet a woman just to sleep with her. I've never had a one-night stand or anything like that. But I have met many women spontaneously, even, sometimes in the middle of the night. And that's something that a lot of people didn't know. Like, I do have, and I have had an adventurous side, and I've had lots of fun. Don't get me wrong, right? And, like, on this phone line, what they do is they and this is how it was back then. I'm not sure how it is today, because it's been a while since I've been on it. And the last time I was on it years ago, it had turned to shit. But what they do is they have, callers from your local area first, and then it expands out to 50-mile radius, 100-mile radius. And then, the further you get into these greetings with women that are live on the line, then, they're further away. The radius is further away. And I'll tell you, in between relationships, I would call this line and I would talk to lots of women. It was fun. You get on the line, you can just kick back on your couch and send messages back and forth. And there are times where maybe you're talking to 4 or 5 or 6 women at once, right? And that's how I learned to understand what women do when they meet men. You see, this is the issue that men have. Men get fixated on one woman, right? Men get fixated on one woman, right? Even if 5 others want to talk with you, you get fixated on one woman. The key to being successful with women is you got to talk. When you're single, you got to talk to a lot of women, right? Like on that phone line, I would talk to 4 or 5 women. Now, my lady is going to be like, oh, baby, what are you, a player? No, I'm not a player, baby, but this is how you filter people out, right? Right? And then maybe you're on that line for an hour or so. I'd be on that line for an hour or 2 back in those days, my younger days. I'd start off, talking with 5 women. Then after an hour, it would filter down to 2. And then after, like 20 or 30 minutes after that, it would filter down to 1, right? And that's how you do it, right? You're talking to 5 different women. You're asking them all questions. You're seeing how they respond, right? You're seeing if they can keep up with you. You're seeing how fast they're responding to you, because there are many men on that line, right? And those women are getting a lot more messages than men are, right? And what I noticed on that line, if women get back to you like right away, then they're skipping all the other messages they're getting from the other guys to get to yours. One thing as a man, you always need to, focus on the woman that is prioritizing you, right? So the test on this line was how quickly are they getting back to me? Because they're all getting like 10 or 20 or 30 messages from different guys. And they can just skip those messages until they would hear my name, and then they can respond to me, right? And then there were times where there were, 2 or 3 women that were just really cool, and we were all getting along, right? And you exchange numbers with all of them. When you're single, you're going to go on many dates. Doesn't mean you're banging these women. And I didn't bang all these women. I mean, I probably could have, but that's not me. I was just looking to find the right woman, right? And some of these women, like from this line, I basically met women from the San Francisco Bay Area. Some of them were from the Sacramento area, about 2 hours away. And the furthest I ever went was 3 hours. And there was a period of time where in between relationships, I was just meeting a lot of these women and I was taking a chance. You know why? Because I didn't expect it to work out. Like, it would be nice if it worked out, but I was meeting women in areas that I'd never explored before. Can you folks see me okay? I think I'm on the camera here, right? Yeah, okay. It's a little warm, so the iPhone is dim, so it doesn't overheat. Let me reset the chat here. I think the chat froze. I'll be right back. Oh no, here we are. Don't worry. I got you. Thank you, Queen. We're good. So, when I would go meet these women, sometimes it was, it'd be on my days off from work. If I had 2 days off in a row and I was having a great conversation, sometimes I would drive in the middle of the night to meet these women. Like I'd leave at 11 o'clock, if it was a 2-hour drive, I'd get there at 1 and we'd meet at a Denny's or something and hang out for an hour, right? 24-hour place. And why did I do that? Number one, it was really spontaneous. Number two, how did the lady trust me to meet me that late? Well, we were talking for a few hours on the line, then on the phone, and you have to take some chances, right? You got to take some chances. Women are very intuitive, and they can tell more than likely if a man is a safe man to be around. Now, you can never be 100% sure, but if someone's going to invest 2-3 hours to talk with you, and it's been nothing but smooth sailing, women are more prone to take a chance on that, right? And I'd go out to meet them even late at night because number one, there's no traffic at night. It's easier to drive at night. Also, music sounds better at night because there's less, noise from the background and all that stuff, right? And even if it didn't work out, it didn't upset me. It didn't faze me. You know why? Because I got to explore a new area. And part of me meeting all these women in the past, wasn't even necessarily in hopes that something would work out. If something worked out, then that would have been a bonus. But I got to explore different parts of Northern California, and sometimes in Central California, I would go the other way. I got to explore different parts. Okay? It's the same thing. Like, and maybe I'm going to be jumbling back and forth from my younger days to, my 40s now. I'm 48. In my 40s, one of the women I was dating lived in the North Bay. Everybody knows her as Dana. She used to be on my former channel, so it's okay to mention her name. You know, I had never dated someone in the North Bay, Marin County area here in the Bay Area. It's one of the most exclusive and most expensive areas on the planet, even more expensive than where I live. And I got to explore that area. And it's such an amazing area. And the population in Marin County is only 250,000. They have a lot of protected open space and strict regulations. And they have a ton of hiking trails. And I used to think that people were really stuck up there because, you know, that's the stereotype area people get because, you have to have money to live here, right? But even in the North Bay area, north of San Francisco, you have to cross the Golden Gate Bridge to get there. I thought that was the snobbiest group of people in the Bay Area and on the planet. And boy, was I wrong. You know, never judge a book by its cover, right? You got to experience it for yourself, right? And that, you know, this is another reason why I really have nothing bad to say about any woman that I've been with, because it's always been an experience. Yeah, it hurt when you know, we would break up. It would hurt. But you look back and you're like, wow, look at all the great times I had and that in the area I got to experience because I spent a couple years of my life with that woman, you know? And the more and more experiences I would get, you know, it's like now, guess who reaps all the benefits of this? My current woman. And I'm hoping that, you know, she's the last woman I'm with. I know she keeps saying she is. And I'm going to keep believing her because I have no reason to not believe her. She's going to reap all the benefits. Now, as far as my woman, and again, we're not going to tell you exactly, you know, where she's at, but she's in the South Bay area somewhere. But she lives in an area that I've never spent much time in. I've been to her area before, but I haven't spent much time in. And because of her and our relationship, I get to experience another area. She also gets to experience another area, you know, in Redwood City where I live, right? So, you know, meeting all these women back in those days, you know, I never looked at it as most guys would look at it. Give me a second, there are some people on the side. There's a lady with her poodle over there, and she saw me. I was a little bit loud, so I'm being respectful as I walk by. Let me just show you around. It's such a beautiful day today. So yeah, you know, most guys would meet all these women and try to bang them, right? I didn't look at it that way. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm a man. I love intimacy with a woman. But like I've told my current woman and every other woman I've been with and dated in the past, like to me, intimacy is more emotional than physical. Yes, there's a physical act. But that physical act, what that physical act is doing, if you deeply look into it, is it's emotionally bonding you closer together. The both of you together, the man and the woman, it's emotionally bonding you closer together, and it's spiritually connecting you, right? And for me, like, I've just never had the desire to just meet some random chick and bang her just because she's cute. Like, that just doesn't turn me on. Yeah, you know, I can sit there and see a hot woman and get a boner. Yeah, Eli said boner live on YouTube. Yeah. But if I don't feel something more, and the possibility of something more coming out of it and us bonding emotionally and spiritually and mentally, I don't have the desire to put in the effort to even try to get in their pants. I just don't want to. That's just how I am. But for me, I've always been a social type of guy, and I've always loved meeting people. I've always loved meeting women, and I've always enjoyed talking more with women than men, because you can always talk about, or you can actually, you can talk about many things with women that your guy friends either don't want to talk about or don't understand what you're talking about. And, I've always been a very emotionally open type of guy. I've always been a very emotionally open type of guy. And most of the guys, I grew up with and have been around were quite emotionally closed off, or they didn't want to talk about emotional stuff, right? But women love talking about emotional things, right? So for me, it's like, many times, even when I was single, I would enjoy going on a bunch of random dates from women I would meet on this phone line, or when dating sites came out, I would just go on a bunch of dates just to hang out and have a conversation. If it led to something more and it turned into a relationship like it did a few times, then so be it. If not, it was just a cool night out, exploring a new area in Northern California and being able to have a nice conversation with someone that actually enjoys the conversation, right? And here's the thing, right? Women are really, really freaking intuitive, right? If they sense any weakness in you as a man, if they sense any desperation, if they sense, any insecurities in you, you're automatically friend zoned, right? So whenever I would go into meeting these women with no expectations, right? And just to hang out and talk, right? I was so cool, calm, and collected and laid back that most of them wanted to go on a second date with me. Now, many of them I didn't want to go on a second date with, because either when I met them, they end up not being, when they described themselves, they were physically very different than they described themselves. And also, their personality seemed a little bit different than they were on the phone, because I guess, when you meet someone in person, sometimes people are a little more nervous or just don't know what to say, right? Or you're in front of them and, they act differently, right? And, I would take into consideration that, yeah, you're going to have those jitters, right? But those jitters typically will last 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. If you're sitting back talking with somebody for an hour or two, and they haven't warmed up to you by that point, or they're still feeling a little bit, jittery and stuff, then, then they're just not in a good place to move forward, right? So, that was something I really enjoyed doing and had a lot of fun. I guess you could say it's the equivalent of what a player would do to go around and bang women, but I didn't go around meeting all these women to bang them. I just wanted to meet people. I just wanted to get to know people and explore different areas. It would give me a reason on my days off to get out of my place and go and do something before I had to go back to work after my 2 days off. It's a nice warm day. Nice warm day. Whew. We are at, can't even see, 29 minutes. I'm going to have to probably stop somewhere and use the restroom. Or maybe not. I might be able to hold it. It's not, I don't have to go that bad. Yeah, so, some of the areas that I visited that I would have never visited had it not been for a woman living there. I got to explore like the back roads and the small towns of, Northern California. I met many people like in the Sacramento area, in the Auburn area, the Roseville area, the Lincoln area. That's 30, 40 minutes or 30 or 40 miles east of Sacramento, which is our state capital here in California. There's another small town called Yuba City. Ironically, over the years, I met a couple women out there. Nothing ever came out of it. I got to tell you, it's really interesting, and this is with no disrespect intended. It's really interesting when you meet like people, or in my case, when I was meeting women in these smaller towns outside of the Bay Area, like further up northeast of the Bay Area in the smaller towns, like these women were completely different, right? And I'm not saying that they weren't nice, but like with no disrespect, like their level of intelligence, wasn't as great. And this is the funny thing. Like when you're talking with people online or on the phone, right? Or like this phone line service I used to use in my younger days, people can hide their personality. When they're recording messages to you, they can erase and re-record messages before they send them out to you. And then even if you're talking with them live by phone, they're not right in front of you, right? So they can typically hide, their actual personality, or, they can come off more intelligent than they actually are. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I would prefer to be with a woman that's smart and intelligent like my woman is, on top of being beautiful. Yeah, a lot of these women were cute. They were beautiful. They were cute, right? But I just wasn't feeling it upstairs, Just wasn't feeling it upstairs. So yeah, Sacramento area, Yuba City. Met several women in the North Bay area. Just never dated one until Dana. And the thing about meeting women in the North Bay area, it's a real pain in the ass to get to the North Bay from the peninsula where I live in the Redwood City area, San Mateo County. Because in 1989, when that major earthquake, hit us here in the Bay Area, and what was it called? Loma Prieta, if I remember correctly. It was a 6.9 to 7.0 earthquake. And that's when the Cypress Structure Freeway, I believe that was Interstate 880. It was a double-decker freeway, and the top decker fell on top of the fell on top of the lower deck, and it was rush hour. It was like it was 5:03 or 5:04 in rush hour, and all the cars below smashed, and most people died. And that was the year the Bay Bridge series, the Bay Bridge World Series between the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's was happening then. And that was at Candlestick Park. I remember that. And so not only that freeway fell apart, the Central Freeway in San Francisco, which was the only direct way to get from the peninsula where I live in San Mateo County to the Golden Gate Bridge in the North Bay via Highway 101, the Central Freeway collapsed. And the Central Freeway, like I said, used to be Highway 101, which is a major north-south freeway, US 101. It actually goes all the way down to Los Angeles and goes, I think, further up north into Oregon and even Washington, if I remember correctly. But US 101 used to run as a freeway through the city of San Francisco. Now, they run US 101. The part of the freeway that fell apart in the 89 earthquake was never rebuilt. And they redirected traffic. They redirected 101 onto some of the city streets in San Francisco. But there's another way that you can get to the North Bay without going through that 101 route, which is a lot of traffic. You could go through what's called Highway 1, 19th Avenue. Highway 1 is the coast freeway. But when you get to San Francisco, until you get to the Golden Gate Bridge, it runs through an area called Park Presidio. It's like a 3-lane road. It ranges from 35 to 45 miles per hour. It's a better way to go than the U101 way, but it's still, you have to drive through the city like, 10 miles before you get on the Golden Gate Bridge. Then you're back on the freeway part of 101. So whenever I would have to go and meet somebody in the North Bay, and even to this day, getting there, it's a pain in the ass. And that's what I would do every time, every weekend when I would drive up to see Dana, for the weekend. On the weekends I went there, I had to go through that. And I'll mention this, whenever I would meet someone there, if it didn't work out, it did kind of bug me a little bit, not because it didn't work out, but because I had to take that shit drive back, and it didn't work out, right? It's just, if something doesn't work out, you want to get out of there as soon as possible and have an easy way out. If you're in the North Bay and you need to get back to the San Mateo County Peninsula area where I live, it's a pain in the ass. There's a gentleman sitting on the bench over there. It is absolutely a gorgeous day today. It's a very, very beautiful day. Thank you, Queen. We have 8 in the box, 4 thumbs up. Folks, please smash the thumbs up. Please smash the thumbs up. Whether you're here live or on the replay, please also share this out on your community tabs. If you have a community tab, that means your channel, it has over 500 subscribers. Anyone that has over 500 subscribers, or once you get to 500 subscribers, within a week or so after that point, you get a community tab and you can share pictures, you can share YouTube videos, other links. It's a pretty cool feature to have. So strive to get to that 500 subscriber mark as quickly as possible so you can have access to share community posts. I think at some point down the road, they may lower that threshold down to 100 subscribers. I don't think they'll ever put it down to 0 because it'd be crazy to give it to everyone, but I think they're going to lower it even more because that has tremendously helped, with engaging your community and keeping your community aware of things without having to always create a short video. It used to be in the past, if you wanted to, put out a very quick message, like if you had to cancel a stream or something, right? You'd have to do a quick video saying you're canceling it or your audience would wonder what's going on. Now you can just put a community post. And people that follow you will either see it in their feed or they can just go straight to your community tab every so often and see for themselves. So yeah, share it on your community tab, share it out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. And also please subscribe, bang the bell, select the notifications to my main channel here, Coach Eli, Elias Melas, if you haven't already done so. And then also, please subscribe to my other channel, Coach Eli 2. Uncensored live streams. Nightbot sharing the link to Coach Eli 2 uncensored live streams every 7 minutes, or just go to youtube.com/Coach Eli uncensored. That's youtube.com/Coach Eli uncensored. Whew. Oh, man, I feel amazing. It's a little warm, but other than that, feeling really good. I think my girlfriend's taking a little bit of a nap. She was we talked before the stream, and she was talking with her mother, and everything is good. Things are going really well with her mother, and I'm really proud of my lady. I'm really proud of how far she's come and turned things around in the last or over the last 9 months. And I'm not trying to take credit for it or steal her parade or her thunder. It makes me super happy to see people succeed and better their lives when they were once struggling. That's what makes it worth it for me. That's what makes this worth it for me. And there's no amount of money you can pay me to feel I'm worth it, or it's worth it to me. To me, it's worth it just to help somebody, to help a human being better their lives. It doesn't always have to involve money, Got a nice breeze right now. That's cool. So I was getting a little warm. Now I feel like the air conditioner's on. Yeah, so I met lots of women in the East Bay. My ex after Dana and before the one I'm with right now was a woman I used to refer to as my activity partner. And she lived in the East Bay. And she was living like in the Berkeley, Oakland area. And she loved to go hiking as well. And she shared some trails with me that I actually grew to love and have hiked since then with other friends and stuff like that. And one of these days, once my lady completely gets better and gets checked out health-wise to do these types of trails, I'm going to take my current lady there. There are some trails called like Tilden Park in Oakland. It's like an 8-mile trail there out and back. There's the Strawberry Hill, I believe it's called Strawberry Hill Trail, that goes through the campus of UC Berkeley. Most of you have heard of UC Berkeley, regardless of where you're at. It is the feminist capital of the world. A lot of feminist rallies are held there. It is a very, 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 very liberal area. Queen Helen Casey, I don't think it'd be your cup of tea. But I don't go there to think about politics. It's just, those are some of the nicest freaking hiking trails I've been on. They're challenging, and there's beautiful nature, and it's not too cold and not too hot because you're near the SF Bay. And so, like, even though her and I were only together just a little over a year, it was a wonderful experience to explore that area. I've got nothing bad to say about her or the time I spent with her, right? Yeah, it sucked that she just walked out one night with no reason and then never came back. But the times we had together, even leading up to that situation, were incredible. Were fun. Explored a lot of great new restaurants in her area that I would have never explored otherwise. Right? The woman I used to date, many people have heard this story before. Oh man. The woman that I used to date in my early 40s, the one that was known as a veterinarian, the one that cheated on me. I don't even have anything bad to say about her. And looking back, you know, I don't condone the fact she cheated on me, but I understand why. I wasn't taking as good care of myself when I was with her. I wasn't purpose focused when I was with her. Even though I was working and doing my thing, I just let myself go, and I even gained like 20 or 30 pounds, which I lost shortly after we split up. But even her, living in her area, she lived in the far East Bay area. I never dated someone in that area. And it was really great spending time out there and just exploring, you know, that area in the far East Bay area. And I will tell you what I learned about, you know, my ex that lived in that area is that they have a Dutch Brothers coffee out there. Dutch Brothers is a West Coast coffee company. You East Coast folks, I mean, don't have them out there. Dutch Brothers is better than Starbucks. It's better than Pete's. It's amazing coffee. And in her area, and that doesn't matter, she doesn't live there anymore. She used to live in Oakley, which is near an area called Antioch. And in Oakley, there was a Dutch Brothers there. And we went there for coffee, and I'm like, shit, this is the best damn coffee I've had. You know, with the exception of the coffee I brew at home, buying the whole beans from Costco. You know, my Colombian Supremo beans. And so what happened was I fell in love with Dutch Brothers and found out that that's like the only location in the Bay Area. I don't think there's another location in the entire Bay Area except that one. But a lot of them are in the Sacramento area. So whenever like, you know, whenever like I would, you know, go out of town in the future with the women I dated after that point, whenever we were out of town in the Sacramento area, we would always get coffee at the local Dutch Brothers, because in the Sacramento area, the greater Sacramento area, there's a Dutch Brothers practically on every corner, just like there's a Starbucks on every corner pretty much everywhere else. So, you know, you learn something new. You experience something new from each and every relationship that you go through. And even if you meet women and it doesn't go anywhere, you get to explore those areas, right? And there's still so much more. I'm going to share as much with you folks as possible for the remainder of this stream. Yeah, it's all good, Queen. You know, Queen, it's all good. Nothing bothers me anymore, Queen. I think you know that. I think you know that. I'm getting to the end where I'm going to turn around. This is, oh wow, I didn't even know there was a bench out here. There's a nice bench there with a cushion. I mean, it looks like the wood is pretty rotted from all the water that's probably hit it, and the salt that's hit it, the salt water that's hit it over the years. But that's really cool. Yeah, Queen, no worries. You can't get them all, Queen. I mean, I can do it too, but I know you want to make it easier on me. So no worries. No worries. Now, what else? There's just, I've had so many, incredible experiences. I met a couple women in the past that lived in what's known as the garlic capital of the world, Gilroy, California, which is almost an hour south of where I live in Redwood City. It's about 50 miles south of Redwood City where I live. And that's where they produce the most garlic on the planet. The environment is just perfect for it there. Met a couple women there. Nothing ever came out of it. They were interesting. It's just interesting as you get further and further south out of the South Bay area. I guess Gilroy is still considered the South Bay area, but you're really starting to get into the central part of the state when you go further down. Another half an hour south or so of Gilroy is a town called Salinas. Maybe some of you have heard of it. And I met a couple women there, over the last 20 plus years. And they were quite interesting, but nothing came out of it. But, I found out about some pretty cool restaurants, some local restaurants there while I went to meet them. And, I have visited those restaurants since that point. And I can't remember their names. I think one of them closed, but the other one is still there. Every town's going to have some nice local restaurants with specialty food that you can only get in that area. And so, yeah, you meet, people like that. You meet women, and whether it works out or not, you get to explore the area where they're at. That's the way you have to look at it, guys and gals too. That's why, with the exception of gas prices nowadays, if I was single, maybe I might do that again. Even though I will tell you, let's see, it was after my relationship with the veterinarian where I didn't meet as many women, and I vetted them even longer by phone than usual, because it just started to get like, as you get older, as you get older, sometimes you just don't feel like taking a 2 or 3 hour drive unless you're completely sure, or as close to completely sure as possible, that's going to work out. Let me switch the camera if it'll switch back. There we go. Queen, can you still hear me clearly and see me clearly? Let me know. Just to remind you folks, let's see, where are we at? We are at 54 minutes. As we get closer to the other side, just to remind you folks, I'm going to be making a very special announcement at the end of the stream. So you're going to want to stick around for that. You're going to want to stick around for that. It's all good stuff. It's all really, really good stuff. Stuff that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I was doing a lot in the past, but I kind of strayed away from it. And I was speaking with my lady earlier today, and I asked her for her feedback because she's my business partner, and she loves the idea. And I'll share more of that with you folks, and some other things too. So, keep it locked here, and you'll find out. And if you're here on the replay and you just want to go all the way to the end and not hear my fun stories and not give me watch time, that's okay. I don't need watch time on this channel anyway. I've been monetized for 2.5 years. That's up to you what you want to do. You want to give me watch time, give it to me on Coach Eli too. But no, that watch time's been doing well anyways. We're getting closer and closer to 3,000 watch hours. I had over 3,000 watch hours, but I stopped using that channel like about a year ago. And I went from like 3,100 watch hours to like 900 watch hours a couple weeks back. That's because those watch hours happened over a year ago and they reset. You need to have 4,000 minimum watch hours in the previous 12 months to qualify for monetization. But since that time, I've gone from like 900 to almost 3,000 in a very, very quick amount of time. I've been having some really good average view durations on my streams on Coach Eli too. So I appreciate everyone that's been supporting the streams, and thank you for also subscribing and helping us, reach our goal of getting that second channel monetized. Once that happens, we're going to be able to provide you with even more content, because at least, we'll get some ad revenue as well. And I know the ad revenue is not a whole lot unless you get a ton of views, but we've got something planned for that. So I may share a little bit more about that towards the end of this stream or another time, but there are some things I will be sharing at the end of this stream, with some things that my lady and I are going to be working on and doing. So again, keep it locked here. All right, back to life being an adventure. Life is an adventure. Life is an adventure. And I'm going to be sharing, or I've been sharing some of my experiences. I mean, what else? Where else have I gone? I mean, I've just done so many things. I've been to Mount Shasta. I went there with my ex, Dana. I'd never been to Mount Shasta before. We went there a couple of times. It was amazing. And while we were out in Mount Shasta, this was about 4.5, almost 5 years ago. While we were in Mount Shasta the second time, we decided to go to Ashland, Oregon, because the border of Oregon is only about an hour north of Mount Shasta, California, off of Interstate 5. And we went up to Ashland. We had her dog, Mabel. Some of you that have been following me for a while remember the 60-pound female black lab, Mabel. There's a goose right on the trail. I might be able to get up close and personal. This goose is literally dead center in the trail. You see it, Queen? I'm going to go around because I'm not going to freak it out. That goose is right in the middle of the walking. But dude, you're not supposed to kick it there, dude. Just go on the other side in the wetland area. It's still there. Look at that. I paid it some respect. I'm going to go off the air for a second and come right back. I think the All right, we're back live. We are back live. Can you see that goose there, Queen, right in the middle of the trail? Still there. That goose has not moved. Like, all right, we're just going to go around the goose. There's somebody coming on the trail over here. The goose is still there. I wonder if the goose is going to move. Because there's a guy coming. We're going to see what happens. Oh, now the goose gets up. So the goose turns around. The man walks to the left of the goose. And the goose just starts to turn around and starts to do its goose calling. Like, seriously. If you felt threatened, why wouldn't you turn at the man? All right, buddy, you can sit there and whine all day. I gotta go. I can still hear that motherfucker way back there. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, now I think his wife came back. His wife came back, and now they're having a picnic on the grass. They flew over there. Well, that was interesting. Oh, he was calling his wife. That was a goose calling that we saw live on the air. Oh, that's what it was. Because I saw another goose flying, and now I think that's his wife. Now they're hanging out on the grass. Oh, did you see that, Queen? That was cool, man. You never know what you're going to encounter on the trail, you know? But it was just interesting how the goose started to do the calling right when that guy walked to the left of the goose. See, I walked around. I went off the trail and then came back on the other side. And next thing you know, another goose, must be his wife, was flying, and then he flew over to the grass on the other side with her, and they're hanging out now. You see, that goose, that male goose, knows how to handle women. You gotta let your woman come and go as she pleases. You know, you gotta love your woman in such a way where the woman that you love feels free, right? You know, men are like dogs and women are like cats. Women like to roam the neighborhood, right? So let them roam the damn neighborhood. You as a man, go do your thing, focus on your purpose, right? And then when she comes around or she starts to miss you, she'll call you. My woman misses me all the damn time. My woman calls me all the damn time, and I'm not mad at that, baby. I'd rather have you do that than not do it at all. Because the more that you call me and text me every day, the more I know like you love me and you miss me, right? And why does she love me and miss me? Because I give her the time and space to miss me. I'm not needy with her. I'm not desperate with her. I'm not insecure. I just do my thing. And then she just comes around when she feels like it, right? You got to let women roam the neighborhood. That goose was letting his wife go and roam the area, right? And then he was just kicking back on the trail looking out for intruders, right? And then I guess when he saw a guy walk by, he was thinking, okay, this might be an intruder. I got to call my wife, have my wife come back. And then she came back, and now they're hanging out, right? But she, you know... But he let her roam around. You got to let your women roam around. Women have to decide on their own if they want to be with you or not, or be faithful with you or not. You can't force them to. So why try to force them to do anything or try to lock them down? Let them come to you. That's the secret. Let women come to you. So beautiful. The sun's out. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It's a little windy right here. Sorry if it's breaking up a little bit. This reminds me of like Little House on the Prairie. You remember that show, Queen? Little House on the Prairie? Oh, I'm not even pointing the camera. There we go. This reminds me of Little House on the Prairie right here. It's just beautiful, right? My lady must be taking a nap, and that is okay. That is okay. I can't wait to share with you folks what I'm going to be talking, well, what I'm going to share at the end of this stream. Like I'm really fired up. I've been like waiting to get to this point because there are so many things that have been in the works behind the scenes for my content. Not just the content with my lady, but even content on my own. I've had so many things that I've been just needing to do and wanting to do. And now is finally the right time. And the reason why I didn't do it sooner, I'll explain more when I share what's going on at the end of the show, is because I needed to get Coach Eli 2 to a certain level before I could do this. I needed to get a certain amount of content on there, and I had to focus on that. A lot of this has been a very planned, strategic move for the business between this channel here, my main channel, and my Coach Eli 2 secondary channel. Wow, look at that blackbird. I think I caught it. Look at that sun. It's so beautiful. I cannot complain. We've got squirrels. We've got blackbirds. All right, so what other stories do we have? What other? There are so many more stories. Well, I've met not a whole lot of women, but I've probably met about 7 or 8 women in Santa Cruz or in that surrounding area. And nothing ever came out of it. But I will say, for the most part, the women in Santa Cruz are really laid back. I think it's because they're all smoking ganja. You know, they're all smoking the G. They're hitting the G, right? And most of the women I met in Santa Cruz over the last 20 plus years of my life were feminine. You know, now every now and then, you know, they would, you know, have a little rougher tone of voice. And I think one of them just was behaving more masculine most of the time than feminine, but most of them were just really cool and laid back. There just wasn't a love connection interest on my part. And a few times on their part too. I mean, look, it goes both ways. I'm an honest person. Sometimes I may be feeling it and they're not, and sometimes they may be feeling it and I'm not. That's why you got to go on many dates. That's why you can't limit yourself, guys and gals, to focusing on just one person until there's a reason to focus on one, right? So, you know, everyone's going to keep their options open, as you should. But once you find someone that you click with and clicks with you, you're both physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually attracted to each other, at that point, that's when you start to focus a little more of your energy on them. And people have asked me, at what point do you stop dating other people? Well, until you're exclusive, technically it wouldn't be cheating. But for me, I'll tell you where the point is for me. If there's a second date with the woman, that means there's attraction there. If I go on a second date with a woman, I'm not talking to any more women at that point. It's done. Because here's the thing. Why would a woman want to go on a second date with a man, or a man want to go on a second date with a woman, when there wasn't a mutual overall interest, which is what I'm trying to say, right? But some people say, well, until it's exclusive 2 to 3 months in, you could bang other chicks. Well, maybe technically that may be true, but honestly, if a woman really liked you and went on a second date with you and wanted to keep getting to know you before making the full-blown commitment, if she found out you were banging somebody else during that time, do you think she would stick around, even though it's not the 2 or 3 month technical waiting period before the commitment would be on the table, usually put forth by the woman? So, typically by the second date, if you go on a second date with a woman, guys, it's because you like her, she likes you, and you're working on building something. So at that point is where I feel, you should, stop talking to the other women. Now, sure, maybe you keep their numbers around, maybe you put your dating profiles and stuff to, you hide them and stuff like that, right? But at that point, I feel is the time to really start to focus on that person, if you both are looking for more of a committed relationship. It's so beautiful. I'm so thrilled. There's a man outside with his friend. They're doing some pottery out there. It's so cool walking on the backside of these homes. And there's a trail here. And then there's water. And I'll tell you, if it wasn't for that water, I would literally be frying in over 90-degree weather right now. Like, the water here literally is keeping it about 10 to 15 degrees cooler. I can feel that breeze like air conditioning. And once I hit the pavement, then I'm going to start to share about what I wanted to talk about. We are at 1 hour and 14 minutes. So what else? I mean, gosh, where else have I been? I've been down to the Sun-Made Raisin Company. I ran into it accidentally when I went out of town with my ex Dana from my former channel. This was about 6 years ago, 5.5, 6 years ago. When you're in the middle of nowhere, you can get some really nice rooms that even have a jacuzzi for a really good price. We were like in the outskirts of Fresno. Many of you have heard of Fresno, California. And we got a nice Holiday Inn room there, king-size bed, jacuzzi suite, and all that, for like $140 a night. This room would literally cost $400 to $500 anywhere in the Bay Area if it even existed. Most rooms in the Bay Area don't have jacuzzi spas. And the Sun-Made Raisin Company was there. They don't give tours, but they have a gift shop. And that gift shop has like every single frickin' variation of Sun-Made raisins known to man and womankind. It was really cool. Chocolate covered raisins, strawberry covered raisins. I mean, you can find a lot of this stuff in the stores now, but not every. All right, we're back. We're back. Sorry, I got cut off. I'm back. People take a lot of pride in the agriculture here in the Central Valley area of California. There's also another place that I've been to many times in the past. I found out about that place from a girlfriend back in my early 30s. There's a place called the Hillmar Cheese Factory. It's one of the largest cheese producing factories in the US and on the planet. They're in a town called Hillmar, which is near Modesto. If you haven't heard of Modesto, let me remind you of Scott Peterson. Remember the guy a few decades ago that murdered his wife and their unborn baby, Lacey Peterson? That's where he lived, Modesto, California. Modesto is only about like an hour and 40 minutes or so from where I live. And this Hillmar Cheese Factory is probably about 15 minutes from Modesto. Come up here, there's somebody coming the lower trail, so. Oh man, it's nice and breezy up here. You have nice shade from the trees, and you have the wind blowing off the water. I'm surprised how well these new iPhones, they hold up in any condition. Heat, wind, cold, right? And they're hard to break too. Of course, I've got my additional screen protector, which is what I'm trying to say, but these iPhones come with Gorilla Glass 6 now. It's hard to break it even without a screen protector, but add a screen protector, you have more protection. And then I even have a spec clear case that protects the sides of the phone and the back of the phone for drops up to 13 feet. And if you're going to drop your phone higher than 13 feet, then I don't know what the hell you're doing. Gonna wait a second. There's a woman walking back there, and she's walking at about the same pace I am, so I'm gonna just keep on rolling. Where else have I been? I mean, there have been so many things I've experienced. I mean, there's a place called Casa de Fruta that I've been to many times. My dad used to take us there when we were little kids. Casa de Fruta is off of a highway called Pacheco Pass, Highway 152. It runs from Highway 101 in Gilroy, and it runs all the way out to Interstate 5, and then Interstate 5, and then further east, California Highway 99. And right when you get onto Highway 152, about 10 miles east, you go up a hill, and then there's a place called Casa de Fruta. And, you know, they have a restaurant there, and they have a gift shop, and a shop where they sell like lots of fruits and chocolates and just a lot of homemade, high quality stuff that's grown and homemade in that area. And no, it's not cheap at all. I mean, it's pretty damn expensive, but the quality is superb. Like, it's top-notch shit. It's literally 10 out of 5 star shit, right? And another cool thing that's really awesome, like when you're driving through Highway 152 through the Gilroy area, or even if like you're in the Central Valley area, there are a lot of places that have fruit stands where some of the excess agriculture grown, like watermelons and melons and stuff like that, they will sell on the side of the road at a far cheaper price than you'd get in the supermarket. Because remember, the supermarkets, you know, the majority of the cost is transportation, fuel, and paying the truck driver, paying for gas, right, and all that stuff, right? It's a transportation fee, right? But when they put their little stand up by the side of the road, which is near where the shit's grown, I'll wait for this lady to pass by. Basically, you get a far better price. I remember years ago, I got some high quality seedless watermelon that just came off the patch in the fields. And this place had a stand on the side of Highway 152 near Gilroy. And I can't remember what it cost me. It might have been like $3 or $4 for the watermelon, maybe a little bit less. But that was the best damn watermelon I've ever had. It was perfectly grown. There was like no pesticides on it or anything. Because, you know, when they transport shit, they've got to, you know, put the preserves on it to preserve it and then ship it out, right? When you get it right out of the field, it's like, wow, that's like the best. It's the cheapest and the best. That's the duck calling. So that's another experience. What else? We're about to hit the cement here. So I'm going to start to wrap up the show really soon. Get your questions, comments, concerns in the chat. Your phone is probably overheating. That's why you keep going offline. No, it's not that. If my phone overheated, Queen, it would turn off. It would put the iPhone when it overheats. It's only happened to me like one time. It shows you a little thermostat on it and it turns off the phone. No, the stream got cut off because it lost the connection with the cell tower. No, it's not hot enough right now where I'm at for the phone to overheat. It's a lot cooler than it was. Now, coming back to this area, it might warm up a bit, but I think we're good. You can see me and hear me fine now, right? What a nice walk today. Let's see, what else? What else is there? Like, there's just so much. There's just so much. One of my girlfriends I had lived in San Francisco. This was my second girlfriend after my high school sweetheart broke up with me. This is a woman that I met from that phone dating line. And yeah, it was a cool experience. I got to experience, you know, the nightlife in San Francisco, and she was living downtown in an apartment. And I remember when I'd go see her, it was a pain in the ass to find parking. That's the problem when you live in a major city. Having a car in most parts of that city is not a good thing. There's nowhere to park it usually, or you have to park it far away and walk, or you have to pay a ton to park it in the garage, right? So that's why, you know, there's a lot of public transportation in big cities like San Francisco. But yeah, I remember, you know, going to spend time with her. Oh, I remember, like, the noteworthy thing of that relationship with that woman was that, you know, she had just turned 21, and I think, what was I, 22 or 23? I can't remember, something like that. And we wanted to go spend Halloween in style, and she knew of this party on a boat, and you know, I looked into it and I was like, oh shit, that's the Hornblower yacht. I'm like, that's like the most exclusive yacht and place to have dinner and party in the Bay Area on the water. I'm like, hell yeah, we're in. And it wasn't a dinner or anything, it was a costume party. And it was just, there wasn't any food. It was just drinking. There was a full bar, right? And this was back in, this was back in the 90s. Yeah, this is like in the late 90s or so. And tickets were only $20 a piece. That wasn't bad. I mean, I guess for the time, if you know, $20 back then, right now, that event would be $50 or $60. But it was $20 a piece. We went on the Hornblower yacht, and it was a fun time. And they were playing some great music. I remember one song noteworthy. They were playing some Two Live Crew. Shake a little, right? That's the way you girl, pump, 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 get it, shake, 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 shake a little. That's the way you go, girl. Bitch, I wanna see you shake it. Bend on over, butt ass naked. Now pump, 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 get it, get it. I got 135 beats a minute, right? Here's your brother Marquise, calling all the freaks, right? I remember the damn lyrics. Two Live Crew. I remember that song playing on the Hornblower yacht, right? And I swear to God, that yacht had one of the best damn freaking sound systems I've heard. I mean that thundering bass, man, my heart almost blew out of my chest, man. That was some good shit, right? We're having a good time, right? And then some motherfucker decides to throw his friend overboard. In the middle of the SF Bay. We're in the middle of the SF Bay, right? We're in the middle of the SF Bay, having a great time. And some dude got so drunk he threw his friend overboard. And they saw it. So they stopped the boat. They shined the light out on the bay. They went and rescued this guy, got him a life preserver and everything, right? And then there was still at least another hour plus left on the party. Because of what that motherfucker did, the Hornblower yacht turned around and jetted back full steam to the dock, and it was over. And I think that other guy got arrested. That was interesting. But I will tell you, there is no experience like being on a really nice yacht with a dance floor, a nice bar, a sound system, a restaurant. Like, man, and you know what, baby, if you're watching, that is something we're going to do at some point. We're going to go to the Hornblower yacht. And a lot of people make fun of me, oh, the hornblower. Oh, is she going to blow your horn on the hornblower? And maybe so, right? That gives me an idea. I'll take my lady one of these nights to the Hornblower. Yeah, beautiful palm trees. At least the palm trees are still alive, except for the one on the far left. I was here on this part of the trail, I think last week. Well, actually, they look like they're all dying. I mean, they look like they're drooping down. We need some water here soon. Nice breeze here. What else? I mean, I've had so many experiences. And my second, the same girlfriend that I went on the Hornblower yacht with, was an assistant manager at a clothing store. And her clothing store was running a fashion show at one of the top nightclubs. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called City Nights or something, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time. San Francisco had some awesome nightclubs. They probably still do, but they were really awesome back then. Lady coming, I'm gonna wait for her to pass. And and she was going to the Academy of Art College. This woman I was with, like, she was really freaking talented. Like, she could draw, she could design things, like she was super talented. Like, seriously, she could draw better with her hands and a pencil than computers can create designs today. That's how good she was. And she was in charge of running this talent show. I think it was I think the nightclub was called City Nights, major nightclub. And she got me in the club with some friends, VIP passes. Oh man, what a hell of an experience. There were some other things like experienced, like most of you know Buddy Velostro, the cake boss. He hasn't been doing shows, brand new shows of the cake boss for years, but he does specials every now and then, right? And yeah, I think he ended up getting a DUI 4, 5, 6 years ago, and then he hurt his finger in 2019 in his home bowling alley, and now he's better. But I was dating this woman in my 30s, and she was an aspiring baker. She made great cupcakes, red velvet, and all different types. Red velvet's one of the best tasting cakes and best looking cakes too. That red velvety look and that rich red velvety taste, right? And she really loved the cake boss. Well, a friend of mine that my brother and I went to high school with, well, he was in my brother's class of 93. I was class 92, but I was friends with my brother's friends. He was friends with my friends, right? And this is the friend of ours where his parents used to have a house in North Shore, Lake Tahoe, on the border of California and Nevada. They called it Cal Neva in that area. We would go there and hang out every summer. That was another perk. But this was the same guy. He is still doing this day. He's a drummer. He can play guitar. He's been a part of some, bands, and but his specialty, he does lighting and, entertainment production. And he actually, his company, it's his company. His company got the Buddy Velostro tour gig, right? Buddy Velostro, years ago, this was probably about 10 to 12 years ago. I have pictures of this. I have pictures of myself with this woman I was with and Buddy Velostro. Babe, I'll show you those pictures. I have them somewhere. Maybe I'll put them publicly, minus her face. It doesn't matter because there's no tie to her anyway. But so my friend, was telling me, yeah, your woman loves the cake boss. My company is, producing the Cake Boss show with Buddy Velostro, and we're going to be in the Bay Area. We're going to be in Santa Rosa, and Santa Rosa is an hour and a half from where I'm at, but it's still the tail end of the North Bay Area. He's like, bro, I can hook you up with tickets. I run the show, and I've gotten pretty close with Buddy Velostro, the Cake Boss. And I'm like, yeah, dude. I mean, what can I do for you, bro? He's like, nothing, dude. I'm just glad I could do this. I'm like, dude, I will make it up to you. Like, dude, I get free tickets. I run the thing. They love my work, so they let me, they spare a few tickets. And I asked him, I said, dude, I don't mean to act like a little teenager and shit. I go, I have any possibility of, meeting Velostro or getting to meet him or something? He's like, I don't know. I can't promise that, dude, but, I'll see what I can do, man. Right? So I tell my woman at the time, she's really, really thrilled, right? I pick her up. We're driving to Santa Rosa. It's a long-ass, hour and a half drive, right? It was a Friday night. There was a little bit of traffic, so we left early. My friend goes, your tickets will be at will call. Just show them your ID, right? So we go to the will call, and I go there and I look at the tickets, and it says section B, seat 5 and 6. And I'm like, where the hell is that seating chart there? And I look at the seating chart, and I'm like, holy shit. I go, holy shit, babe. These seats are front row dead center. My buddy hooked us up with front row dead center seats. Sorry. Front row dead center seats. Can't get any closer. Can't get any straight on. And I was like, holy shit. And then right behind those tickets in that envelope, I was like, my friend, you motherfucker, love you, brother. You already knew you could do this. There was a VIP backstage pass to meet Buddy Balastro after the show. My lady was just thrilled. Like, I was like, man. So we go into the show. We even got on stage. I even actually took video of this. I took video of this, and I have it somewhere. Like, I don't know if we were supposed to do it, but I was like recording video. I had brought, this was before smartphones came out. I had brought I had a digital camera that could record, I think in 720 or 1080p or something at that point. I think that's when 1080p first started becoming big, like over 10 years ago. And I recorded myself and my lady going up, and we were competing with other people that Buddy called up to ice cupcakes. We were icing cupcakes, and I really sucked. My lady at that time did great because she'd been doing it for a living for a while, and she was aspired to become a baker in the future. I don't know if she ever made it, but that's what she was aspiring at that time over 10 years ago. And it was just an awesome time. After the show, we met Buddy Balastro and got a picture with him, got to talk with him. It was just really cool. That's just another experience I had based on the woman I was dating, based on a friendship, that I met through my brother and the high school we used to go to. And I think that's where I'm going to stop it here today regarding some of my experiences. Life's an adventure, and there are so many more experiences. Maybe I'll do another show regarding this at some point down the road and share some more. But I've really had a fun time. I mean, before I started doing this YouTube thing full time, I still get out and I do things. But before I started getting serious with the coaching business and making the transition from insurance to coaching, I really tore it up. I really had a great time. And yeah, I still, like I said, I still go out and do things. But back in those days, I was experiencing all parts of Northern California. I think there are only a few parts of Northern California and Central California that I haven't experienced. One of them is Mendocino, and I won't be going there anytime soon because gas there is almost $10 a gallon. And the rates for hotels are probably going to be $300 a night. And I ain't paying that. I'm just not paying that right now. Hell no. Oh, wow. I've never been to this part here. Let's come over here for a second. Wow, this is really beautiful. Somebody's smoking here. I can smell the sulfur, the salt. I could literally just stand or sit here for hours and not get bored. I could take a nap out here. And there's somebody fishing over there. Don't know if it's legal, but oh well. Oh well. Not that big deal. I'm not that square. I'm a goody-goody, but I'm not that much of a goody-goody. Yeah, folks, get your questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. We're going to be going off the air in just a few minutes. So let's start talking about what I was going to talk about. So what's the next step? What's coming up soon to the Coach Eli network of channels? Where are my lady and I taking this to? Well, I was talking with my lady earlier today, and I'm going to wait a second because there are some people here, and I'm going to be real quiet. Okay. There's a dude sitting on the bench there. He's smoking a cigarette, and he was farting. And I think his friend is fishing. I don't think you can smoke there or fish there. I mean, you are outside, so maybe you can smoke, but this is not an area where you would typically see people fishing or smoking. But anyway, I digress. All right, so, and where are we at right now? We had one cut off, 102 minutes, an hour and 42 minutes. Lots of birds and squirrels and rodents just popping out from the side of the trail on both sides. It's been very interesting. We're going to take this route. Oh, a plane's taking off. Still here. I got 2 other live streams going. No worries, Queen. If you can't stick around, don't worry. I'm only going to be on for another maybe 10 minutes or so. The plane is taking off, and so it's really loud here, so I'm going to wait for a second. Where is that plane at? Is it that red one? Oh, it is that red one right there. Yeah, you can see the propeller moving in the front. So he's going to have to drive around, hit the runway, and then take off. This is cool. The San Carlos airport. All right. So most of you are aware I've got a lot going on. There's a lot going on in my neck of the woods. Personally, professionally, with family. A lot of things that I have going on a daily basis I hardly talk about because it's not necessary to talk about it. You know, there are some things I work on with my family, estate stuff and shit like that, right? And then, you know, I've been working on some stuff with my aunt lately, and my lady has been, you know, I've been helping her with some stuff, and we've had a bunch of events to attend to and things to do outside of YouTube. And then we've had the YouTube stuff. We put together a bunch of great shows, and you know, it's been a lot, and there's a lot more that my lady and I are working on, and we've been wanting to really create some more bite-sized targeted content that we can share to the masses and give people an idea of what it would be like to become a part of our community. But we need to do that outside of the live streams. We need to create more pre-recorded videos. This is something I've wanted to do for quite some time. Wow. This area, because there's a lot of water, it's very green. Very nice. Let me get over here before some cars come and run me over. So, effective immediately between the time this live stream ends, and a week from this Monday, I will not be putting out any content. Instead, my lady and I are going to be focusing on creating some pre-recorded content in the highest quality. Some of it will be done by myself. I haven't fully decided yet, but I may bring back the, dating stories or the bedtime stories with Eli. I'm going to be creating some more videos in 4K at 60 frames per second. The ones I do on my own, the ones I do with my lady are going to be done from the computer. The ones at 4K 60 or in 4K at 60 frames per second will be done from my iPhone. And I got a separate boom arm and microphone and all that for great quality. But yeah, the ones from the studio I do at 1080p 60 frames per second. And we're just going to be creating some more bite-sized content so that way we can share out our stuff to multiple networks, multiple social media networks and sites. In addition, something else, and my lady came up with this idea. I thought about it in the past, but I've been putting it off, and I've been told to go this route before by my former friend who passed away over a year ago, to basically take some of my live streams or most of them and turn them into podcast format and start uploading your content to all the podcasting networks. And that's another thing we're going to be working on. This is going to take a lot of time, folks. A lot of time, energy, and resources. In addition, my lady has a laptop that needs some restoration. The laptop's fine. I just need to restore her operating system and optimize it and get her all the right drivers. I'm going to be restoring her laptop over the next week, and that may take all day. That's at least a half a day or a full day affair. But once I'm done, she's going to have a full-blown laptop, and she'll be able to have better audio quality and even video quality if she, when we decide to bring her on video. So there's a lot in the works, and I've been trying to find the right time to do this because we've been building momentum on Coach Eli 2 Uncensored live streams. But now that we've done part 2, we did part 2 of why modern men are so insecure. Check that out if you missed it. It was a great show. The replay's available now. That one dude in that smart car, that's like a little tin can on wheels, was looking at me. Those smart cars get over 100 miles per gallon, but if you tap them, they crush like a tin can, and then you're dead. You know what I mean? So, like I was saying, this is the right time to do it. And in order to get all this done, folks, I've got to cut out the live streams, you know, and not upload anything for like a little over a week. You know, when I do these live streams, if I do 2 live streams a day, okay, my live streams typically are an hour and a half to 2 hours long on average, right? That's 4 hours a day. Plus, when I'm doing walks, it's driving to the location, setting up the equipment, tearing up the equipment, driving back, right? And in the studio, it's setting up the equipment and shutting it down afterwards, right? So literally, to do 2 streams a day, one from the studio and one from mobile, it's about 6 hours of time. And I need to, you know, take back some of that time right now and focus it on the aspects that are going to move the business forward and make it a better place, not only for us, but for you folks down the road. Still here? Okay, you already read that. Well, that same Mercedes that was parked here in the past is back here again. I guess this dude works out here or something. I've seen this Mercedes in the same spot before. It's a nice car. It's an E550 4MATIC. All right, folks. So, you may hear from my lady and I every so often through a community post. I don't know. Maybe I might do a brief 1 or 2 minute live stream or pre-recorded video throughout the week. But there will be no full-blown live streams from the studio or mobile, and there will be no full-length pre-recorded videos or anything like that released between now and the week from this Monday. So just wanted to put it out there so you folks are aware. If anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email me at Coach Eli at coacheli.com or connect with me in any one of the ways you're connected with me. I'm on Twitter at Elias Melas. I'm on LinkedIn, Elias Melas. I'm on Facebook Messenger, at Elias Dimitri Melas. There are many ways you can reach me, and you can share your feedback and what you think. With that being said, folks, I want to thank you all for taking the time to be here. Hope you enjoyed the stories. I'll share some more another time. I really enjoyed today's stream, sharing a little bit more about, how I was in my younger days and the things I experienced and explored. Have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other. Be good while I'm gone, okay? Be good while I'm gone. Take care.